If he apparently works from home, this just did not make sense to me. About a week ago, my roommate asked him to spend the weekend out on the golf course with her. They would rent this little cabin, pop some spicy cubes, play golf in the morning. And I asked her, like, what is this guy's last name? Because I watch crime shows all the time. Let me stalk him a little bit. And she was like, I actually don't know his last name. And I was like, don't you think that's a little weird that you don't know his last name after 6 months? And she was like, yeah, that kind of is. She's like, he's just a fun time. Like, I never really thought about that. So I go into my roommate's room and she's getting ready to pack up to go see him. She has all her like lingerie, her spicy cubes, her toys, planning this like huge night together with him in the cabin on the golf course. And I'm like, why don't you text this guy and ask him what is his last name? Like, that's not really a weird question. So she texts him and he's like, why? He's like, oh, my roommate just wants to know, like, she watches a lot of true crime and she just like wants to know what your last name is. He's like, well, if you're planning on looking me up, you're not gonna like what you see. And she was like, do you have a record? Like, what are you talking about? At this point, we were a little creeped out. So he gives us his last name and we look him up on Facebook, and his profile comes up with a picture full of him and his children. And I asked her, did you know that he had children? And she was like, no. When you go to his tagged photos, there's a woman that has him tagged and it says that she is married to him. So my roommate texts him and she's like, have you been married to this lady like for a long time? Are these your kids? And he's like, yes, but we've been separated for over a year now. And it's strange that he never once mentioned this to her. Like, based off of the wife's Facebook, like, does she even know that they're legally separated? Because it doesn't look like it. It looks like they are still a family. And my roommate is still planning on going out with him to this cabin to have a fun time together or whatever, because she's like, does it really matter? Like, I'm just gonna believe him that they are separated. And I'm like, you really shouldn't believe this guy. You don't know what else he could be lying about. So they spend the night on Friday together, and on Saturday morning, she wakes up and he's just completely gone. Phone is turned off and he's not answering her, and she's just like, what is going on? She's like, I don't know if he's ghosting me. She calls me and tells me that, and she told me that even all of his stuff was gone, like his bag, everything. Just like full off disappeared. This guy literally left her like in the middle of the night or something, or maybe early in the morning, and never told her anything. And I tell her, like, you know it's because of the wife, right? I'm like, you need to tell the wife. Like, you need to message her on Facebook. Like, she's right there. You can send her a message. So then my roommate texts him and she's like, I'm telling your wife on Facebook if you don't answer me. And immediately she gets a phone call from him and he's like, please don't text her. I had an emergency and I had to leave. He basically told her that he cannot see anybody because that was in his prenup, and that his ex is some crazy girl that he just like can't tell that to. And I'm like, that just doesn't sound right to me. That just sounds like a way of like having your cake and eating it too. My roommate's just sitting there and she just doesn't seem like she cares anymore. He's like, why does this really matter? Why should I even tell her still? And I'm like, girl, you need to tell this woman that her husband is cheating on her. So should I tell her? Because her husband is absolutely psycho.